Welcome. Now I got a bit of time on my hands, and that's why I'm making quite a few videos. 'Cause at my age, you never know when you're going to wake up dead. Now, a lot of noisy females are making a big noise about equality, how they're downtrodden, and how the patriarchy keeps them back. Now, the patriarchy is obviously has to be male, and I'm a male, so I feel quite important. Being a patriarchy, it sounds good, it sounds army-like. And it's supposed to be all about equality in a rat's ass. I've lived a longish time, and I've seen that females usually have the advantage in life a lot more than a man does. A man has to work hard to get where he is, to get what he wants, where a woman it comes fairly easy. But I'm glad in a way, because that means that we appreciate it more once we finally get it. But there's no doubt in my mind that it's harder for a man in life than a female. So I have no idea what they're moaning about again. Oh yes, equality. Well, let's take a look. You may remember the story about that Lori person and her husband in the college scandal. Do you remember that now still? Well, they've pleaded guilty in the end, and their daughter Olivia is trying to make a social media comeback. And I think she's doing a makeup channel. Well, there's hardly any of them on the YouTube, is there? God. The thing is, this is not really a new story. I should imagine that it happens all the time. Rich people with money pay their way for the children to go to college and get in under the mat, if you know what I mean. Because just because you have money doesn't mean to say that your children are super intelligent, does it? But money speaks a lot in this world we live in, which is a bit of a shame, really, because I haven't got any. But this Laurie's daughter, Olivia Jade, is that a real name? Is called an influencer, because YouTube people are now called influencers. Hell, I could be an influencer. Maybe I am. I feel good already. But what the hell is this video about? Oh yes, equality. Alright, so they pleaded guilty, this Laurie and her husband, for the college scandal. And of course they pleaded guilty to the lesser charges, of course. Only happens to the rich people, doesn't it? You and me, they'd put us in jail and throw away the key. But if the judge, and I don't know whether the news is carried on yet or not, accepts the plea deal, this is what they're kind of looking at for prison time and so forth. Now, I read what they accepted the plea, and the charges to me look exactly about the same for both of them. Of course, I'm no lawyer. I'm just an influencer. But for Laurie, the female, she will serve 2 months in prison, pay $150,000 fine, and 2 years of supervised release with 100 hours of community service. Now remember, this is the downtrodden female. Now let's do the man, her husband, which is a male. He will serve 5 months in prison, pay $250,000 fine, with 2 years supervised release and 250 hours of community service. Does anybody see the slight discrepancy there? Equality, it ain't. So the man has to serve an extra 3 months of jail time. The 2 years supervised release is the same, must have been an error. Serve another 150 hours on top of community service, and pay an extra $100,000 on the fine than the female does. And I don't ever hear females yelling and screaming about how they want the same time a male gets. Do you? The sad thing, and all us men know, that men always receive longer jail times for the same offense or crime. We've all seen those male and female partners who committed the same crime together. The man will get 5 years, and the female will get probation. And I think it's far time that the courts and society caught up with the modern world, don't you? And the trouble is, there's a lot of men out there that accept that to be the way it is, and they shouldn't. Especially when the females are yelling so loudly for equality. But it does show you how really in-depth society is to protect the females. To always present them in a good light. And to hide the bad things that a female may have done. Having to have all that protection from everywhere, they must be really, really bad. And who's ever running the females nowadays, it must be a PR nightmare to see the females on the internet now. I mean, they really, truly are damaging their brand, aren't they? This is the influencer, Solo Man, signing off.